We are outside Joe Biden's campaign office in Philadelphia demanding that he fulfill his climate mandate. We elected you, Joe, and now it's time to act.
Biden, these are letters from people, the young people that got you in office. We need you to be brave right now for our futures, for our generation, because we're counting on you.
So now that makes sense, right? That makes sense, right? You want to make Joe Biden is assembling his cabinet right now, and he's putting, fracking lobbyists in, asbestos lobbyists, stuff like that, corporatists of all different kinds, people from the fossil fuel industry. And so now is the time to keep your eye open and be on it. That's right. Some people, there's a lot of apologists for the Democratic Party. They don't like that. Like this lady here, she says, what the F is wrong with you people? He isn't even in office yet. The first thing he needs to deal with is the pandemic. Otherwise, everything else is moot. Jesus effing see Christ, these people. Get behind that. Then we'll take you seriously. You always need to worry about something else. First, he needs to get the pandemic in order, you guys. You know, that awful thing that we'll have more of if we don't do something about climate change? Then maybe he might do something about climate change. Come on. What does she think, that we're only supposed to protest Trump between now and January? We can only protest Trump? He's building a cabinet and he's drawing plans for the new year. Now is actually one of the few useful times to apply political pressure. I hope this helps. I want to say thanks to that guy. But basically, he's like, excuse me, ma'am, who we really want to take seriously. Here's how basic politics works. That's how it works. Who brainwashed these folks? There are actual enemies to their cause, but they don't even seem to know who they are. The Sunrise Movement is one of the best Republican operations in existence. Oh, boy. See that? Who brainwashed these folks? I guess it was Joe Biden who brainwashed them with all the times he said he was against a Green New Deal. Would that be who brainwashed them? Do you see this garbage? These are the same lines I've been fed my entire life. They were, I've learned, just useless platitudes to pacify people into not putting in the work. Useless then, useless now. Politicians are not your friends. They will not fight for you unless we push them. It's bitching at a guy who both agreed and has a far better team of experts on the issue than they do. So they're saying that the Sunrise Movement, they're just bitching. No, it's bitching at a guy who's setting the stage to do little more than window dressing about climate change and our future of the planet's at stake. That's all. I love when they say bitching. So when you're protesting and they don't like what you're protesting about, you're bitching. Oh, with that Martin Luther King with his whining. You still whining about equal rights? Hey, Joe Biden's campaign co-chair is a big oil and gas booster. Joe Biden has surrounded himself with people tied to the natural gas industry for his 2020 presidential campaign. His climate advisor, Heather Zeckel, is a board member of gas company Shenra Energy, while one of his fundraisers is co-founder of natural gas company Western LNG. In addition, Biden's super PAC supporting his candidacy has a former gas lobbyist on its board. Joe Biden selected in May to serve as his campaign co-chair Louisiana Democratic Representative Cedric Richmond. Despite representing a low-lying Louisiana district, one of the areas in the U.S. most immediately impacted by climate change, Cedric Richmond has voted reliably in favor of expanding production and exports of natural gas and oil. His voting record is one of the most fossil fuel industry friendly of all Democrats in Congress. And I'm guessing nothing will fundamentally change. In 2015, Richmond was one of the 28 House Democrats to vote in favor of approving construction on the Keystone XL pipeline. That's who Joe Biden's putting in his cabinet. These are the guys Joe Biden is finding. Wow. This is what Joe Biden means when he says he can work with Republicans, I guess. Last year, he voted in favor of legislation from Representative Bill Johnson, a Republican from Ohio, that would undermine the environmental review process for gas pipelines by stating that all pipelines that transport 0.14 billion cubic feet per day or less should be immediately approved. The Marathon Petroleum and ExxonMobil refineries in Richmond's districts are located along the banks of the Mississippi River. Downstream from these plants and a number of chemical company facilities, also in the district, is a region known as Cancer Alley, which for decades has experienced much higher rates of cancer and other diseases than the rest of the United States. Richmond, a member of the moderate New Democrat coalition. So this is a guy who Joe Biden is this guy Richmond, a member of the moderate New Democratic coalition, the New Democratic coalition, which somehow manages to be even shittier than regular Democrats. He's a member of the New Democrat coalition, which is just nothing but corporatist yes men. He has voted in favor of many Republican bills opposed by environmentalists over the years. The League of Conservation Voters gave Richmond an environmental rating of just 46% during President Trump's first 2 years in office, a lower rating than several Republicans. So just remember, when Joe's not appointing Republicans, he's appointing Democrats with worse records. There it is, Representative Cedric Richmond to serve in Biden's administration. He resigns from Congress. In the future, never promise to vote for somebody without getting something in return. Voting is a transaction, not a loyalty oath. Biden doesn't have to do jack for you now, and he probably won't. And that's a fact. And that's why I didn't vote for Joe Biden. And I'm never voting for another corporatist warmonger for the rest of my life. That started in 2016. You can join me in starting a People's Party, because that's what this is going to take. Because if you think that electing progressives to Congress inside the Democratic Party is going to make a bit of a fucking difference, I hate to break your heart, but you're a chump. They all voted for the largest upward transfer of wealth in the history of the human race. You go ahead and try to square that circle. You don't even know what the fuck is in that CARES Act, which is why you don't ever ask them questions about it, which is why I'm to the left of you. Hey, everybody, this is the part where I tell you where all our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then this is why I tell you to join our premium program and get extra content, but nobody's got a fucking job. So just enjoy the video.